what we have here is all a multiplication, right? Everything here is being multiplied. So let's start here. How about 4 times 5? We can do that one. That's a 20. And now let's take a look at the x's. We're multiplying, so we're going to add those exponents. I'm going to write it down in this case, but normally you could just go ahead and write that. 3 plus 4 is 7, but I'll write it 3 plus 4. And then I get y. Now you're going to add these exponents. There's an implied 1 here, right? We don't actually write it, but there's a 1 here. So we're going to have y to the 1 plus negative 1, right? 1 plus negative 1. So where are we now? We're at 20, x to the 7th, y to the 1 plus negative 1 is y to the 0. And then assuming that y is not 0, which they tell us in the instructions, I think, we're going to get that as a 1 here. So we're going to get 20 x to the 7th times 1, or just 20 x to the 7th. In 14, this is all a multiplication. So let's just go ahead and multiply each term, each factor here. So we're going to get negative 7 times 3. That's going to give us a negative 21. Now what about these y's? I've got y to the 3rd, y to the negative 4. So I'm going to add those exponents. So I'm going to have y to the 3rd plus that negative 4. And then there's no z's here, but there's a z here. So I'm just going to get that z to the 5th. All right, we could just take care of this one. We'll have it. Negative 21, y to the, okay. Now this is 3 plus negative 4. That's a negative 1, z to the 5th. But let's eliminate this negative exponent. All right, I'm going to get rid of that negative exponent. And I'll do so by dropping the y down to the denominator and changing the sign of the exponent. So it'll be negative 21. The z to the 5th stays on top. And then we get y to the positive 1. But we don't need to write that one. So how about just negative 21, z to the 5th, all over y. And in number 15, looks like we've got multiplications and divisions. So let's just run through it. 30 divided by 5, that's a 6. And then what about this d here? Well, I've got a division. So I know what to do. I know I'll write the common base and then take the top exponent minus the bottom exponent. So how about just 6d to the 6th? That's it. Now in 16, we've got the 2 divided by 4. All right, so we'll reduce that. And then I've got an x up here and no x's down here. So that x is not going to have to combine with anything. But I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this y to the negative 3 and I'm going to bring it down. I could do it now or I could do it later, but I'm going to bring it down now. It's easier for me to work with positive exponents than negatives. But first, I'm going to do this. 2 will go into 2 once, 2 will go into 4 twice. So we will have this now. In the top, there's going to be that x to the 7th, right? I'm getting it here. 1 times x to the 7th is x to the 7th. Now in the bottom, we're going to have that 2. I'm going to write the 2. I've got a y to the 4th, and now I'm also dropping this one down, right? Change the position of the base by changing the sign of the exponent. So drop the y down, but change the negative 3 to a positive 3. And now we can combine these two, so I'll get x to the 7th over 2. Now y to the 4 times y to the negative 3, add the exponents. 4 minus 3 is a 1. I'm just going to leave it like that. Now here in 17, we're going to assume, see I got a y to the 0 here. We're going to assume that y is not 0. Otherwise, this term right here, this factor here is not defined. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to bring the y down and the x up. But I can do this right here, right? 35 divided by 5 is a 7. So I'm going to write 7. Now the x cubed will stay there. Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring this x up, change the sign of the exponent. So I'll get x to the positive 4. And then, in the bottom, okay, we already did the division. I brought that x to the 4 up. There's y to the 0. That's just a 1. I'll go ahead and write it. It's a 1. And then I'm going to bring this one down. Bring that one down. So I'll get a y squared down here. Okay, now in the top, can we take care of this? Sure, we'll just add the exponent. So we'll get 7x to the 4th over 1 times y squared, y squared. Now in this number 18, I've got a negative exponent, but what's inside the parentheses? It's all multiplication division. So here's how I'm going to do this one. There are several ways to do it, but here's how I'm going to do this. I'm going to take this negative 2 exponent and I'm going to distribute it to every one of these factors, right? Negative 2, bring it over to 7, bring it to the x squared, bring it to the y, the negative 8, and take it down here to this one, the z cubed. So we will have 7 x to the, now what do you get? What do you get when you raise the power to a power? When you raise the power to a power, you multiply the exponent. So just go ahead and do it. We don't need to write 2 times negative 2. Just do it. You raise the power to a power, you multiply the exponent. So 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. And what about the y? Multiply the exponents. Negative 8 times negative 2 is positive 16. And in the denominator, we're going to have z to the, multiply the exponents. Positive 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Okay, we're close. I'm going to get rid of those negative exponents. So I'm going to take this x down, change the sign of the exponent to positive 4. I'm going to bring this z up and change the sign from negative 6 to positive 6. So it's going to be 7 y to the 16th. And then I'll bring that z up, z to the 6th. And the x is going to come down, right? This x right here, that's going to come down to the denominator. So x to the 4th.